Okay, good morning everybody. My name is Kat Simigovic and I'm a member of the account management team here at Census Data Solutions. I wish to welcome you to our webinar today in which we'll discuss how to build a data quality business case. Also attending this webinar are both Dita and Nicholas, two of our technical data experts. In this 30-minute session today, we'll be discussing data quality. We'll address the challenges most businesses face and provide you with both the tools and knowledge needed to assist you in building that data quality business case for your business. Now, before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's event. We've taken a screenshot of an example of the attendee interface. You should see something that looks like this on your own computer desktop in the upper right-hand corner. And you're listening in using your computer speaker system by default. As an attendee, you're automatically sent to mute, but you will have the opportunity to submit text questions to today's presenter by typing in your questions in the question panel of the control panel, where we will have Niels on standby to answer your questions. You may send your questions at any time during this presentation. In today's webinar, we will be introducing you to Census Data Solutions. We will discuss data quality business challenges. We will talk about poor data quality, what needs to be considered when building a data quality business case. We will also show you and walk you through our ROI calculator. We'll provide you with a data quality checklist which will assist you in this process moving forward, and we will use a classic business case. And finally, at the end, we will answer any questions that you may have. So who are Census Data Solutions? We are Australia's most trusted data cleanser. We have been assisting businesses like yours with their data for over 20 years. We do enrich both consumer and business data on a daily basis. Our exclusive access to both the white and yellow pages directories means that we're able to provide you with premium data quality that you can rely on. Now, what we are going to do today is we've got a poll today. Let me just bring this up for you to see. So we've actually got a poll today that we'd love to get your thoughts on. Our polling question is, what challenges do you face when building a business case for clean data? As you can see, there are 4 options, and you need to select one of these options. And the following options are, business doesn't want to spare the money. Number 2, unclear about the technical resources to implement a system. Number 3, multiple data sources in many locations makes jobs too hard. And number 4, need more info on the impact of poor data quality on ROI. So please select the appropriate response and click submit. You actually do have 30 seconds to do so. Okay, it looks at the moment like we've got, it's going pretty quick. 61% of people have voted. Please submit your answers, because that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, all right, I think it's time we close the poll and see what the responses are. Okay, well, it's an interesting one here. We find that a fair majority of you, or 1/3 of you, have selected it's unclear about the technical resources to implement the system. And then in an equal second, we've got both business doesn't want to spare the money and multiple data sources in many locations makes the job too hard. Now, what we will be doing is, as part of this webinar, we will be answering these questions, and they will give you further clarity as we go through this webinar. Okay, so let's move along. Okay, based on our research and feedback from our customers, listed below are some of the common challenges businesses face when selling in a data validation service to their business. The 5 top responses include a lack of budget or a lack of financials. Number 2, a lack of clarity around the enrichment process and how it actually works. Number 3, there's a lack of information on driving long-term data strategies within the business. There's also the inability to show the ROIs and the financial benefits. And finally, the lack of technical resource to assist throughout this entire process. So how does dirty data impact and affect your business? Now, listed below are some of the impacts dirty data can actually have on your business. Now, we all know that unreliable data makes it hard to communicate and interact with your customers. We're also aware that manual data entry can be both entered incorrectly and overall is a costly exercise to clean. We know poor data quality does equal poor customer service. When we're using marketing campaigns, it does impact us and we end up reaching the wrong people. And also, without an accurate picture of your customer base, it's hard to create effective campaigns. Now, before creating a data quality report, there is some homework or housekeeping that needs to be addressed. Listed below are these things that you need to look into. The first one being, how old is your data? Where is it stored? Have you got one source or have you got it in multiple locations? Do you currently have a solution in place? Are you speaking to the right people? Do your systems have the capability to both export and import data and ease? Do you have a nominated budget at all? And finally, do you have a future data strategy for your business for both batch and real time? Okay. Now, we have created a checklist to ensure that you have covered all your bases. Listed below are 6 questions in relation to measures on data quality. As you can see in the left-hand column, there are 6 questions, and in the right-hand column are the measures that you need to use in order to assist you with this. So question 1 is, can data quality issues be linked to wasted time or impact productivity? 2, does poor data quality impact the time of the people utilising the data? 3, what financial impacts does poor data quality have on the business today and in the future? 4, how are your business processes affected by poor data quality? The 5th one is, do data quality issues affect all strategic business objectives? And finally, can data quality issues increase risk? Okay, now Dita is going to show you our ROI calculator and how it's associated with data quality. Thank you, Dita.
Thank you, Cam. And again, welcome to everybody today. Let's start with a really simple one by improving the efficiency and accuracy of staff updating customer records. In this simple example, we see the time and basic costs associated with updating customer details. The example shows a business on the left that has a simple manual data entry method. The customer then integrated a data validation tool to its system. This improved the accuracy of the data as well as delivered a time saving. The solution itself not only addresses time and accuracy, but delivers a financial benefit, as also shown on the right. In this particular case, it was our data quality API called Total Check was the service of choice that was integrated. And for those of you unfamiliar with the term API, put simply, they're applications which access the features or data of another operating system or application, really facilitating the sharing of data, in this case, between two systems, kind of like a handshake, if you will, between two applications. Total Check API integrates with most systems, including CRMs like Salesforce, Microsoft Dynamics, Oracle, etc., and others such as ERPs and websites for those of you that have web forms and collect or maintain data that way. The benefit is accomplished by helping the user update the records with only accurate data that the API references in real time, as well as offering predictive text and autocomplete functionality. This reduces the amount of keystrokes required to complete the update to the record, delivering the time saving. Next is a more complex piece where we work with clients on a number of attributes, including address, email, phone, SMS, and also tackling some of the issues dealing with compliance, such as the Do Not Call register and also dealing with elements such as the Spam Act in the case of emails. This example is using real data, showing the tangible benefit of updating and validating the data points most organisations use in some way. There are others like geolocation and segmentation, but for today's purposes, we're focusing on these core attributes. We've built some assumptions into this calculator referencing real results and industry standard rates of return. Your data, of course, may be more accurate, it could be less accurate, and of course there'll be other variables in your organisation like the frequency of use, average sales values, all of which will be different for a multitude of organisations. Typically what we do is that we take a sample of our customers' data and we customise these calculators based on our findings to support any business case you need to make for data quality improvement. Let's focus in this instance on probably the most common means of reaching out to a customer base today, email. So in this example, we see the following. The customer in this instance has 100,000 emails on file, an average sales value of only $500, and they send 6 emails a year to this customer base. There are, of course, some base assumptions that we've built in, such as the current state of play for this email is only 75% accurate and deliverable. And we also factor in other elements, such as the cost of marketing automation per email and other key measurables such as click-through and open rates. Running through our processes of both correcting the data itself at a syntax level and also finding new email addresses that we can return to your data set. This delivered in this instance an 8% improvement to the overall email data set itself. The cost to do this work to improve the email was 5.7K as shown, with a small cost reduction in the marketing automation piece as well. This small improvement delivers a net tangible $45,000 benefit, and this really can be reinvested into additional marketing budgets, advertising, or other revenue generating activities that the business might be interested in. Using what we know, our data and effort to improve your customer database, well, we can show that the investment in your data is essentially revenue positive each and every time. We can show that fixing either just one element or addressing all the different kinds of data that you use to communicate with your customers with will reduce current costs due to inaccurate data and generate better rates of return from your marketing, sales, and communication strategies. I'll pass back to Kat now, who will walk you through one of our case studies, highlighting the levels of improvement that can be accomplished in further support of your various business cases for change.
Thank you, Dita, for that. That was very insightful. Okay, let's move on to the next bit. Okay, a case study. Okay, so what we're actually using is a real-life example of a customer like yourself who does need to assess their data and what they are doing with their data as of today. And so we're using a customer of ours called ABC Trading. Now here's a bit of background information on them. They currently have 1 million records in one centralised location. Now the types of data that they actually collect is both consumer and business records. Now at the moment, manual data enrichment is what's being done, and that's used via the call centre. Now what they are looking at doing as part of their strategy moving forward is moving to Salesforce CRM. Now there aren't any data strategies in place at the moment, so they do need assistance with that. And the main requirement that they are looking at doing for their business is not only enriching the existing database they have at the moment via batch, but also looking at a real-time data validation solution, whereas in moving forward when they're collecting data, they're able to have that data enriched. So they've come to Census Data Solutions and they need an accurate picture of their data quality. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, what kind of conditions is your database in. So run a database quality health check. So what we do is we run a sample of your database through our system and give you a detailed report highlighting where the problem areas are as well. Now this might include issues with the address. You may have phone numbers. You may not have phone numbers. You may have mobiles and landlines but require numbers, email addresses and the validity of the emails, and also additional data points. Okay, utilising records that contain a name and address or a name and phone number, be that business or residential, as part of our matching criteria for the following customer, we've been able to run the following results. So as you can see here, this is actually a high-level example of our health check. And with this particular customer, we flagged some key things in here. One of them is suspect duplicates. So what that means is that the customer may have 1 million records. However, one record may have been entered as a new record again. So in this particular instance, we can actually see that out of the 1 million records, 32.5% of their data is actually a duplicate. Moving right along to the next section, what we can also see is that out of all of their data, we've been able to match 32% of their records to our data sources that we have. What we've also been able to uncover, out of the 1 million records, there are 10% of these addresses that are not there at all. And as a result, what we've been able to do is provide this customer with another 10% of new addresses, which will help them in their future marketing strategies. And finally, one of the other things that we've also uncovered as well too, is that out of their whole 1 million records that they have, that they actually are lacking in 32% of phone numbers. And as a result, what we've been able to do at Census is we've been able to provide them with an additional 32% of phone numbers, and they include both mobile and fixed lines as well. Okay, by using our ROI calculator, we've been able to determine the following, and that is by enriching 1 million addresses for a quarterly mail out with an investment of $85,000, Census have been able to reduce their unwanted costs by $576,000 with a gain of $490,000 or 669.77%. By enriching 600,000 phone numbers for an average sales cycle of 2,000 with an investment of $54,420, Census have been able to reduce their unwanted costs by $263,515 with a gain of 4,676%. Okay, the data points that can be validated and enriched. As you can see, and I've mentioned to you previously, we are able to both enrich and validate both consumer data and business data. And listed below are those key data points which we're able to assist you with. For a consumer perspective, we've got both local and international address. With phone numbers, we're able to both verify mobile and fixed lines, but also provide you with new mobile and fixed lines. We're also able to validate email addresses and provide you with email addresses, and also included there are some additional data points there too. From a business perspective, for those of you who do have business data, we're able to validate business addresses, provide you with business phone numbers, provide you with business email addresses. We're able to validate whether a website is still active. We're able to also find out whether a business is still running via the ABN, and we're also able to append an ANZEC code plus additional data points. So these are the 4 takeouts to take from this actual webinar itself. First of all, make sure you do your research. That's key. Work through our checklist because that will give you further clarity. Remember that dirty data is expensive. And finally, one of our specialists can help you put your facts and figures together as well. Okay, now we're going to begin with answering any questions you might have. As a reminder, you can still submit your questions through the question panel, which is a control panel. Okay, so let's see what questions that we do have. Okay. All right, we've received a question from Stephen, and Stephen has asked, can you help me with a business case in regards to dollar figures and costings? You know, Stephen, most certainly we can. One of our consultants will be able to work together with you by looking at your data, by working with your data, showing you the impacts of the ROI, and provide you with an all-round solution as well. Okay, let's scroll further down. Okay, we do have another one from Mark. Hi, Mark. Okay, Mark's asked, where does your data come from? Okay, Mark. Well, with regards to our data, we do have our own public listing data from our trusted sources, which are both the white and yellow pages. In terms of data, we hold over 14 million consumer records and over 2.4 million business records. All the consumer records that we do have are consensual data by the individual, and we do receive tens of thousands of updates per week to ensure that the data is most accurate and up to date as well. Okay, we've got a question from Meredith, and Meredith has asked, can you share the presentation with us? Yes, Meredith, most certainly we can. You will receive a copy of the slideshow and you'll be able to download a recording of the webinar from our website, and this will be available to you in the near future. Okay, see if there's any more questions. Okay, we do have a question from Judy, and Judy wanted to know, how safe is our data? Well, Judy, our data is safe. It's maintained confidentially, and we've got confidential agreements in the ways that we've agreed with our suppliers, our customers, and all our data is prescribed by law. Census does handle strict guidelines when it comes to, you know, the privacy of the data, customer data. For example, none of your data that we have is stored offshore. We have everything localized. And we have file sharing protocols such as SFTP, PGP, and HTTPS. The last thing we want to do is send your data to an unencrypted via email. Okay, well that concludes our webinar for today. It appears that we're pressed for time. So thank you everyone for attending today's webinar on building a business case for data validation. If you have any further questions, please contact us on the details which you can see on the screen. Once you leave today, you'll receive a survey on the presentation, and we would appreciate it if you could complete that and provide your feedback. You will also receive a follow-up email within 24 to 48 hours with a link to view the recording of today's webinar, as well as a copy of the PowerPoint presentation that you've seen today. On behalf of Census Data Solutions, thank you for joining us today and enjoy the rest of your day.